right, y'all, we're going to get into it. Here we go. We're going to listen to Claudius. Who is this Jesus? Tell it? Tell it, you say? Tell it again? I've told you all I know. I've even told you what I don't know. But some are just arriving, and they haven't heard what you saw. Tell us again. The heavy door opened and shut quickly as two more men entered the small room. Claudius supposed this was a storage room, but he wasn't sure. It was too dark. The only light was a slit of afternoon sunshine creeping through an opening in the wooden shutters and streaking across the face of the listeners. The group numbered 15, maybe 20. About as many men as women. A few men were shaven, most bearded. A few asked questions. A few shook their heads. All sat with eyes fixed on the young soldier, whose story they longed to hear, but didn't know whether to believe. Claudius took a breath and began his story again. I wasn't supposed to work that night. I'd worked over the Sabbath and was tired. In fact, I had been on duty since Friday morning. I remember your face. The voice belonged to a woman sitting on the floor. You were on the hill. I was assigned to Golgotha's detail a month ago. A grumble went up from the group. Claudius defended himself. I didn't ask for it. I was given it. Emotion was thick in the room, but then someone was urging. Go on, finish the story. Claudius again shifted his weight. He would never have imagined himself in a room full of Jews. The contrast between his trimmed hair and short uniform and their beards and robes only added to his discomfort. He eyed his spear on the floor at his feet. His Roman shield leaned against the adobe wall. Coming here was a dangerous move. He had been uneasy ever since he arrived in Jerusalem a few months back. Certainly wasn't his choice of a place to serve. But when Rome sends, a soldier obeys. Besides, he told himself a year in a peaceful outpost couldn't be too bad. Wrong. Jerusalem was far from peaceful. The Jews hated the soldiers. The soldiers distrusted the Jews. If it wasn't the priests' complaints, it was the zealots' riots. Forget casual strolls down the street keeping peace. Jerusalem was a hotbed of anger. Anger at Rome. Anger at the world. They called themselves the people of God, some nation of God. No navy, puny army, no emperor. Just a temple, a Torah, and some strange rules about the Sabbath. Claudius had been trained to respect strength and size, neither of which he found here until last night. What he saw last night he'd never seen in Rome or anywhere else. When he told his officers about it, they told him to keep quiet. He couldn't. He had to have some answers. So he came here. These people wanted answers too, so they let him in. They were easy to find. Every soldier in the city knew where they were hiding. The upper room of a large white corner house. It was the same place they had met last week when he was still here. One by one, they had drifted back to the room, each entering with a knock on the door and a shameful nod. When Claudius learned how they had run away and left Jesus alone, he was amazed that they had returned. "Why are you still here then?" he asked. "Why don't you go home?" "If you'd seen him do what we've seen him do, you would stay too," a disciple explained. "Sounds like he has," added another. For by now, they all knew what had happened at the tomb. Or better, they knew something had happened at the tomb. No one quite knew how to explain it. Claudius picked up his story where he'd left off. "When I first saw him being led up the hill, I noticed he was different. He didn't demand we let him go. He didn't shout or resist. And when we hammered the spike into his hand," Claudius paused, wondering if he should have mentioned this. An encouraging nod from one of the women told him to continue. "When we placed the spike in his hand, he held his hand still. He didn't fight." "Sounds like something he would do," a man in the back stated. Several nodded in agreement. "He never seemed angry," Claudius' voice grew softer as he continued. "He never blamed anyone. People were cursing and laughing at him, but not once did I see his eyes lose their calm." No one moved as Claudius spoke. When he had shared these events with his superiors earlier in the day, they had scoffed. It didn't matter to the Romans how Jesus had acted. But it mattered to these people. They wanted to know every detail. We'll stop right there. We'll pick it up tomorrow and hear some more. Y'all, I love you. And Jesus loves you so much more. He loves you best of all. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.